Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday. I hope we're all doing well, drinking our water, hydrating that skin, taking care of the skin with that skincare routine, eating your veggies. It's summer. Well, it's winter in some parts of the world, but hey, I hope we're all doing good. I'm awesome, a little bit tired. I am back on a journey of 20,000 steps a day. And some days I did 30,000. One day, guys, it hasn't been easy. I couldn't feel my legs, but I'm here because I'm committed to you. So right now I'm actually tired, but I'm here, guys. That's what matters. So if you see a little drop in my energy levels, just know your girl is tired, okay? All right, so we are starting such an exciting series today. We're going to be talking about sexual struggles of Christian youth. So we're having this conversation. I know some of you are just excited. Some of you are just like, yes, finally, let's talk about it. Yes, we're here to talk about it. I'm super excited. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so yes, it is important for us to have this conversation. I am of the opinion that when you hear something for the very first time impacts your outlook on that thing greatly. It's sad that most Christians do not hear about sex. Most young people do not hear about sex in a healthy setting because it impacts how you're going to look at it. And if you found it first in some pornography you were watching with a group of friends, or some older guy in high school managed to lure you into it, or whatever, it just distorts your view on sex, okay? And this is a conversation everybody should be having in a healthy way. Why is this important? Guys, you agree with me? The world is highly sexual. Every single thing, okay? Sometimes you just see them advertising Coke, guys, Coke. The lady is dressed in a sexually provocative manner. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you advertising Coke or are you advertising boobs? Like, I'm missing it here. What are we doing? But that's how sexualized the world is. And so people may think they're shielding their children or they're shielding church members from this thing, but it's out there. So it's important that we sit down and have the conversation in a healthy way. All right? So let's start talking about it. The desires of sex are not always demonized. They're not always demonic. Sometimes they're just normal. You are a human being. Nothing happened to your hormones at salvation. I'm sorry. I just had to break that to you, okay? Your hormones are very much the way they are because they serve a purpose. All right? So we're going to talk about me. I'm just going to put myself on the spot. So for me, my first sex conversation was with my mom, and I consider it a very healthy setting. We sat down on a bed, like I told you guys previously in one of my videos that she'd call me every 2 weeks, and we sat down. She didn't start by telling me, if you do this, you're going to get pregnant, because that's what happens in most African homes. And I'm not bashing anybody, guys. Every parent did their best they could with what they had. It's something to do with our culture, okay? Their parents didn't talk to them about sex, so they're not going to talk to you about sex. They're only going to warn you not to get pregnant. Don't get pregnant. Don't get anybody pregnant. That's as much sex conversation you're going to have. Then, in most churches, the only time you're going to hear sex is don't fornicate. Fornication is a sin. Masturbation is a sin. Pornography is a sin. So you only hear about it in a sin context, in a don't get pregnant context, and you're not having it in a healthy context. And by now you know that each time you keep telling someone don't, with all the don't, it gets certain people curious. Now, I'm naturally not a curious person. I'm not really curious, but many young people are. So back to my mom. We sat down, she told me, all right, so the first time you should have sex is when you get married, to consummate the marriage. This is what God gave it for. Then next, you use it for bonding with your husband and for, having kids, for creating some babies. God said multiply. Them children are part of it. So this is a gift of God to marriage. Let's understand it in the right context. I hate that most of the time we're just talking about it in a demonized context. There's a healthy way to look at sex. was created for. Look at the person who created it. God said everything he created was good. So sex is a good thing in the right confinement of marriage, right? So now let's look at the young person who's not yet married. How do you do this thing? How do you deal with it? You're maybe watching and saying, Ruth, I know sex is for marriage, but why do I feel like having sex now? Ruth, I've read the scriptures. I know what to do. Why are these feelings hitting me now? That's because it is part of your makeup. In the same way that you get hungry, you get tired, yeah, you feel like having sex, okay? So this conversation can be a bit uncomfy. Sometimes it shouldn't be that way. If you remember my first video, my intro video, people who know me knew that I was a bit shaky when talking about how I almost had sex. Because it's just not easy to put yourself out there like that, okay? Naturally, I easily talk about it. With my mentees, I go in, I just dig in. I don't leave out details. I'll tell you, this is where I was. Zoe's going to be covering her ears. Justice is going to be like, oh, we're here for it. Tell me that story, mama. So I don't make some mistakes, okay? So with my mentees, I'm very vocal. Like, I'll say it. Even in church, if I'm preaching, if you know me, you know I talk about this. But with the camera, knowing that so many people are going to see, oh, your girl just got a bit shaky. But I think I'm over it, okay? So I had that conversation with my mom. My mom later left. She left for school, and I remained alone. One thing about my dad, which is sometimes with most parents, my dad knew I was a good girl, and I think I was. I am still, okay? So my dad just knew my baby's just thinking about books, about being the next Ben Carson. Boys are not on her mind. Like, that's my father. That's how much confidence he had in me, okay? But your girl was hanging around with other people. And now, you know, I was in a female boarding school, and you know how female boarding schools and gossip, like, they work together. So you now begin to hear, this one lost her virginity, that one lost her virginity. And of course, I wasn't interested at the time. I'm like, no. I had my principles strong with what my mom told me, with what my dad told me. So even when I started dating, because I started dating at 18, I didn't tell my parents, I hid it, and the boy was not saved. Because by then, I thought church boys are boring, okay? I wanted me a boy with some swagger, some height, a stud, and he plays basketball. That's it. But I did not want to break any of my purity principles. So when I began dating, I'll tell the boy outrightly, bruh, you're not gonna have sex with me. You're not gonna kiss me. I ain't into any of that. Okay? Well, I did kiss the boy because I don't know what I was thinking. Eventually, it happened. But I managed to maintain, my sex boundaries, so that worked. So, I told you guys about that temptation. Who did it happen with? Interesting. So the first people I dated, whether it's 2 or 3, I can't remember, guys. It's been a long time. Were non-believers, and I was strict with my boundaries and whatever. Then I came to date a Christian guy, okay? My first Christian guy, also a pastor's kid. I'm not going to shout out his name. And so I was just happy, like, oh my gosh, I finally have a godly relationship. Hallelujah, we're going to do all that cute purity stuff together. So we sit down, talk. Yeah, we're not kissing. We're not doing none of that until we are married. Yes, that's what we're going to do, right? And so being comfortable and saying we're both, both looking out for purity, we both speak in tongues, we both do this. We ended up compromising by being in one place, just the two of us. Guys, do not think your spirituality, and I'm putting it in brackets because if you're really spiritual, you know better than to be in compromising position. Don't think your spirituality will defy the laws of nature. Okay? The hormones are not going to be like, oh, she's saved, so don't come out raging just because she's with a boy. No. How do you go in one place with a boy and you're surprised that both of you wanted to have sex in the end? How does that happen? Right? So there are many Christians who do such things. They'll be doing low-key cohabiting, low-key spending nights, low-key, and you'll be telling me things like, oh, I've already made up my mind not to have sex. Yes, that was me, and coming in hindsight, it is foolishness. You're being foolish. Okay? You're placing confidence where it does not exist. You're not thinking properly to say, I'm gonna be in this position, in this compromising situation, and I won't do anything. Most Christian youths, if you ask them, eventually they did. They'll tell you. Some may not tell you, but eventually something of sexual nature did happen. Even if it wasn't the whole 9 yards, something of sexual nature did happen, right? So it's important to have this conversation in a healthy way. The desire for sex is normal, just like the desire for hunger, the desire for sleep when you're tired. It is normal. What is important is what you do with it. So if you're watching this video, you're like, Ruth, my hormones are raging mad. They're all over the place. You're not the only one. And you can control it, guys. I was talking to someone they were telling me about how athletes are told to stop having sex in season, like when they're doing certain things, so that they can concentrate on the goal ahead of them. And they're able to say no, guys. Do they feel like having sex? Yes. Some of them are not even saved, but for the goal ahead of them, they're able to say no. That's how powerful God has made us. So how much more believers? On top of a great human will, you have the Spirit of God. You have scriptures. Come on. Come on. Let's have this conversation now. Stop making them excuses, right? So you can't say no to your body. No matter how hungry you are, I think my spiritual mom gives this example sometime. No matter how hungry you are, you cannot eat out of trash. Just because you're hungry, even if you see McDonald's burger in trash, you will not eat. You wait to go home. So no matter how your sexual, hormones are like raging mad, you can say no and tell them, we're gonna get married one day. You have all the fun you want. All right? But in the meantime, what I want us to do is I want us to normalize having healthy sex conversations. The young brothers can talk to one another. But in the meantime, I want us to normalize having healthy sex conversation amongst Christian singles. You got friends, your clique, you guys should talk about it in a healthy way. That's one of the things I appreciate about my friends. For me, my mom just gets right into it. There's a time she called me. She said, young girl, have you been feeling like having sex lately? I'm like, Mom, don't say that. I'm like, Mom, no. She's like, I'm just asking. I'm like, no, I haven't. So she said, whenever you do feel like it, come talk to me. So when I had a moment there where like my hormones were just raging mad, I called my mom and I could talk to her about it. You see, so that's the importance of having an environment where you can have a healthy sex conversation. So in conclusion, don't bash your parents. Not everyone may have had the experience I had, and even me, my mom left, okay? Don't bash your parents for not having had this conversation. We can do it better. And us as future parents, you as future parents, can normalize having healthy sex conversations with the little ones, the future little ones, because we're going to have them cute little ones. I can't wait. Anyway, guys, so it's going to be a series. I'm going to be talking to different people. Today's just an intro, so don't feel like if you haven't really gotten into it. I'm going to get into it. On Wednesday, we're going to have our first guest, and we're going to look at it from different perspectives. The Christian that has always been in church, what struggles, what sexual struggles. The person who gave their life to Christ later, what struggles. We're going to get right into it. Whether it goes beyond my experience, in my experience, we're getting into it. So send your questions. I'm going to put it on my Instagram. Send your questions, your sex questions as a Christian single. How do we go about it? Guys, this is going to be good. I'm so excited. So thanks for hanging out with me today. You made it to the end of the video. God bless your sweet soul. If you're new here, do subscribe, and the rest of you know the drill. Like, share with every youth that you know that needs this. So until my next video on Wednesday, it's goodbye. God bless you. Ruth loves you, but God loves you so much more. Oh God, I don't have strength for you.
So you've not been sleeping well?
Adulthood is a scam.
Adulthood is a scam. I mean, I think it's because you work at night calls. So like.
Sandy, stop it. Night shift. I need to do that for like my psychology. Like, is that Zoe?